So fun fact, I actually have my AGI, that's the Advanced Ground Instructor Certificate, which basically means I can teach private pilot ground school. Now, have I taught private pilot ground school in a long time? No. But let's talk about airspace. At its heart, airspace has two parts. You have the cloud clearance requirements, and you have the air traffic control requirements, or lack thereof. I'm sure everybody in flight training is familiar with this chart. There's a lot of information on this chart. But it gives us the 6 classifications of airspace within the United States. And if you think about it, the cloud clearance requirements make sense. I'll show you what I mean. In Class Alpha airspace, there's no cloud clearance requirements because you're IFR. You're on an instrument flight plan, there's no VFR allowed up there. And since it's IFR, to get there, you have to be on an IFR clearance, which means you're talking to air traffic control. Boom, done. Class Alpha, out of the way. Class Bravo is the second strictest airspace to fly in. You have to have 3 miles of visibility, and you have to remain clear of clouds. There's not a specific distance from clouds because you're talking to air traffic control in the Bravo. Because in order to get into the Bravo, you have to have a clearance. And air traffic control is affording you separation between IFR and VFR. So you can get right up next to the cloud because air traffic control is going to tell you if there's a plane in the cloud. Now to fly in Class Charlie, you need two-way radio communications and a transponder. And again, you need 3 miles of visibility, and now you have a little bit more specific cloud clearance requirements. 500 feet below, 1,000 feet above, and 2,000 feet horizontally. And again, if you're talking to air traffic control, they're going to tell you about any traffic that's getting near you, or they're going to try to at least. But in order to get into the Charlie, you have to be able to talk to them. And so that's why you need the radios, two-way radio communications. And then you need a transponder, or that operable Mode C transponder, so that they can radar identify you and track you while you're flying around. One, that provides a better service because now they can see you and they can call that traffic to you, but also they're sequencing IFR and VFR aircraft to the airport that the Class Charlie is over. Now, a Class Delta airspace just requires two-way radio communications. Well, why don't we have to have an operable Mode C transponder? Because Delta tower controllers are generally not sequencing airplanes outside of their Delta, and the Delta is only 5 miles wide, so even if they could, they're not going to be like radar identifying you. Most Class Deltas don't even have radar tracking capability. They may have a radar display in the cab, but they can't use that for separation. So again, we have our 3512, which if you think about it, the Delta only circles about 5 miles around that airport. So if you have 3 miles of visibility, you should be able to see everything that's within that Delta. And then most deltas only go up to about 2,500, 3,000 feet. So the 500 feet below, 1,000 feet above basically ensures that you can see everybody within that delta. Now we get to the slightly trickier ones, Class E and Class G. I'm actually going to make another video because this one's going really long, so follow for part 2.